Hi everybody, this is Will Bowen with today's Jumpstart. Today I want to talk about my mentor, my idol, Mr. Rogers. We're going to talk about Mr. Rogers a little bit more because I think that Mr. Rogers got more people to pray than any televangelist who ever lived, and I'll tell you why. Mr. Rogers, when he would meet someone, first of all, he did something really cool, which is atypical for most people. And that is that Mr. Rogers only ever prayed for other people. He never prayed for himself. To me, that's the mark of an elevated soul. He's always praying for other people. However, he would always ask other people to pray for him. Now, you may or may not know that Mr. Rogers is an ordained minister and that the Presbyterian Church actually allowed him to make his ministry, his online, or not online, but his TV show for children. Mr. Rogers was going to meet a young man who, I think it was through the Make-A-Wish Foundation, one of those foundations that helps fulfill the wishes of children who are sick or dying. And this little boy was 14 years old, and he actually had a meltdown when he met Mr. Rogers. They were on the set of his TV show, Mr. Rogers' TV show, and the little boy just became overwhelmed and had a meltdown. And the parents took the little boy away. Now, this was sort of referenced to in the Tom Hanks movie about Mr. Rogers, but in the real story, Mr. Rogers waited production for about 20 minutes until the little boy got his self back together, little boy, 14-year-old, and he then waited because Mr. Rogers had something he really, really wanted from the boy. Do you know what he wanted? He wanted to ask the little boy to pray for him. Now, I don't know about you, but if Mr. Rogers said, "Will, would you please pray for me?" I would be praying for that man every single night. So why not? Consider the idea that that communication with the highest, with the divine, is one of the most sacred and beautiful things that we have. And it grounds us in spirit. You know, a friend of mine said that he was an atheist and one of these serious atheists. And but then he went through a difficult experience and he said, "God, if you're there." And my point to him was, well, who are you talking to if he's not there? You know? So the very idea of speaking to something elevated, something divine, raises our consciousness, but don't waste it on yourself. Don't sit there and be like a kid writing a letter to Santa Claus. Gimme, gimme, gimme. Hey God, I want, I want, I want. Pray for other people. Know the fact that you are already in grace. You are already blessed. And use that time to pray for other people. And by the way, if something challenging happens to you, as I've mentioned before, I'm going through a divorce and several people have said, you know, I will pray for you. Pray for the person. It's not enough to say, "You're in my thoughts and prayers." Close your eyes and turn their experience over to the divine in your mind. See God handling it. I realize this is a pretty spiritual jumpstart, but this is who I truly am, and I want to speak my truth to you. We all need to pray because we need to connect with that highest divine and pray for other people. You want to be prayed for? Ask other people to pray for you, just like Mr. Rogers. So be sure and post your questions and comments. I'll respond to them personally. And if you enjoyed today's message, forward it on to just one person, would you? Enjoy today. We'll talk tomorrow. Bye-bye.
No more complaining people. Their lives are changing. We're flying high, creating a complaint-free world. No